Hey, Real Green Ninja here. The video you're about to watch is a supplement to the existing tutorials and help videos already available on the Real Green website. I do take a more casual approach because I'm presenting this information as I would if you called in, although I may have a little fun with it. This video is based upon the information I, as a Real Green technician, would provide using my experience on the help desk. This video was created on my own time to assist with areas of the software that may be waiting for an official help video or tutorial. At the beginning of the training video, I will have the version of the Service Assistant the video was made with. I will also try to be as accurate as possible, but be aware, as Service Assistant updates are released, things may change. I'm using the name Real Green Ninja as not to stand out from the other amazing technicians that I work with. I hope the information in this video helps you, so grab a cup of coffee and I hope you learn something new. Hey, Real Green Ninja here. Today we're doing my crash course on installment plans, how to set them up and how they work, as well as how to bill your customer for that installment plan. So let's begin. The first thing we want to do is I want to check to make sure that I have my settings set up to do installments. Now, one of these is optional, but the other one isn't. So we're going to go to Data, Company Parameters, and General Setup. Under our Miscellaneous tab, you'll see there's two checkboxes regarding installment billing. The first one is to disable it. Obviously, if you disable it, you won't be able to use them. What that will do is it'll actually take that installment tab away from the customer screen. So again, you got to make sure they can it's not disabled so you can add installments. Also, what I like to do, and again, this is what I usually recommend, but it's up to you guys, I like to have the system itself post that installment charge on that due date. Okay, so that way I don't have to remember to generate and post installments manually. Now you can do it, and I'll also talk about how to manually generate and post installments. But like I said, I like to kind of keep it a little bit dummy-proof to make it so that the system will do it for me. Okay, and again, we'll talk about how to do it manually and stuff like that if you decide you want to do it manually. The problem is if you forget to post those installments, or maybe the person that normally does it's on vacation or in the hospital or something like that, you could unfortunately not charge the customer for their monthly installment. So again, like I said, I want to keep it automatic, so I do have that check marked. So we're going to go ahead and close that. Now I'm going to pull up a customer here. So let's say Stephen Tyler. And let's say we want to put his fertilization, which is my LC program, as well as his lawn mowing onto this installment plan. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Installments tab to set that up. And again, like I said, if we disable installment billing, that tab will disappear. But before I do that, I want to show you what the current billing type is for this service or program. You'll now notice that the regular invoice is the current billing type. All right. When we set up the installment, it will change, and I'll come back here and I'll show you. So we're going to go to the Installment tab here. Let me give you a brief rundown of the anatomy of the installment screen before we actually start doing that. You'll see any current installment plans that are currently active. That means they still have charges that need to be posted and they're not marked as being completed or canceled. Now, if you do have an installment plan that has been completed or canceled and you want to take a look at it, just uncheck that checkbox. And then that will let you see all the installment plans that this customer's ever been set up for. All right. You can also tell it to show previous year services if you want. Again, most of the time we recommend keeping the installment in the calendar year. So if you're doing it for 2015 services, set the installment plan for 2015 services. Again, there are a few exceptions, but we try to take those on a case-by-case basis. Also, if a service has been completed, that means you've done the work, it will disappear from this list, but you can tell it to show completed services. Again, if you want to see them, just hit completed services. This is the grid of the services that are available to be added to the installment plan. Over here is the current status. If there's a purchase order in the installment plan for your customer, you can put it in there. There's approval date, expiration date. Again, we try to recommend keeping it in the calendar year, as well as when you print coupons, it will put in a coupon date. And we'll talk about coupons in a little bit. You'll see there's a payment, the number of payments, as well as the first due date. And again, we'll talk about that when we actually set up the plan. But over here, you'll see that we have total service calculated. That's going to be the calculation of whatever you select up here. Total installments manual. If your calculated is not going to be equal to the manual, for example, let's say you're giving them a break because they're doing it as a payment plan, you're trying to help them out, you're going to give them a slight discount, then you'd put in a manual amount for a little bit less than what the calculated would be. Or let's say it comes out to $1,158, you tell the customer, you know what, we're just going to make it an even $1,200 for the season, divide it up among 12 months or 12 payments, and it's just going to be $100 a month. And again, different companies do things different ways. It will also tell you how many services are remaining to be done, as well as how many installment charges are remaining to be done. Again, those numbers we'll throw in there once we actually make this plan. Over here, you can set to auto renew, as well as if your customer set up for auto billing with the CAW, you can tell it to bill with a credit card or ACH if they have that automatic clearinghouse, the electronic checks. Down here, These 3 buttons are for how you want to build out that schedule. Again, we'll go into a little bit more detail when we set it up there, set up the installment plan, as well as a calculate tax button. If you use a manual manual input for this installment, you will need to make sure to hit that calculate tax button. In this lower left-hand corner, you'll see that we have installment services completed, installments billed, the net installment debit, payments received, and net customer debit. Again, I'll show you when we actually set the plan. I'll post some production on some of the services and show you how it functions and stuff. But I'll show you, explain those numbers once it pops in there. All right. So again, we're going to set up a new installment plan. So we're just going to hit new here. You'll see it's going to throw in the approval date of today. If that date is different, you can change it. Also, it's going to have the expiration date. Again, if the date's different, you can change it. But like I said, we try to recommend keep it within the calendar year. Once we hit the new button, now we can start adding services or programs to the installment plan. Like I said, with this customer, their lawn care is going to be part of the installment plan. When I check mark it, it's now going to tell me this item must be marked as installment billing to be included in this installment plan. Do you want to make the change? We're going to hit yes, because now that billing type I showed you a little earlier, and we'll go back, has been changed from regular invoice to installment. You'll also notice it puts whatever services or whatever the total is down here in the calculated. Now this will the calculator is only going to show you going forward. So if I would have posted production on the first round of this lawn care program, the amount remaining obviously is not going to be less, or is obviously going to be less than the total for that program. So again, you may need to use the manual input if you're doing an installment plan or payment plan mid-season. I'm also going to make the mowing as part of the installment plan. Again, it's going to say must be marked installment billing. We're going to hit yes, and now that went from statement only, because that's how I have mowing set up, to installment. All right, but the correlation is not part of the installment plan. All right, that's going to be an extra service, an add-on. All right, once we have that set up, like I said before, you can put a manual input. So let's say I want to be, just make, for the sake of argument, makes things even. So I can say, instead of being 2012.08, I can turn around and say $2,000, or I can say $2,100. Again, I'm charging a little extra for the convenience of paying on a payment plan. All right, I'm going to put in a number of payments. So let's say I want to split this up into 7 payments. I'm also going to put my first due date. So let's say it's going to be the end of the month. So the first due date is going to be 4/30. But like I said, I want to show you how to do manual posting. So I'm going to bump that back. I'm actually going to make it April 1st. Okay, and then that way it will have an installment charge that has already passed that date. Once I put in the number of payments, once I have the due date, once I have either the calculated if I want to use calculator or manual if I want to use manual, now I can hit monthly. It's now going to warn me, because I'm using manual, do I want to use the manual? Well, I want to use the manual because, well, I put the manual one in. So again, I'm going to hit yes. If you hit no, it's going to use the calculator. But again, like I said, if you use manual input, you'll want to make sure to hit this calculate tax button. See where it's 308, calculate tax, you'll see now it's $18. All right. So again, you want to make sure to hit that calculate tax button if you use the manual input. Once all that stuff is in here, hit save. It's going to tell me, because again, I set it for April 1st, you have one or more installment charges that have not been posted or in the past. Do you want to do this? Again, I'm doing it because I'm doing it for demonstration. All right. Now, this customer will be charged on those due dates that amount. They will not be charged on a pay-as-you-go for the lawn care or the lawn mowing, because again, those two services are part of that installment plan. So if I come back to the customer tab here, go into the service or program, again, you'll see this now set to installment billing type. You really don't want to set it manually in here, because if you manually change this to installment billing type and then get a phone call or go out for lunch and forget to set up this installment plan, this customer will never be charged for that service or program. This is telling the system, do not charge them the $71.86 plus tax if you charge tax. Do not charge them this price when we post production on it, because this program is going to be charged based upon a payment plan. All right, so hope you guys make sense. All right, so now that we got that all set up, again, I have an installment charge that is in the past, so I'm going to manually generate and post my installment. So I'm going to go to activity, installment charges, and you'll see there is a generate and post installment option. When I click on that option, it's going to pull up the screen. It's going to ask me what installment charges do I want to post based upon their due date. So I want to make sure that this due date is captured within this date range. Now, with this, it is an all or nothing. All right, so if I hit get them and there's 20 of them on here, all 20 of them would be posted. There is no check marks. if for some reason you only want to manually post this person, and there are multiple ones on the list, what you can do is you can close this window, come in here, edit, and actually change the date. Make it something different, something most people wouldn't have, like maybe not 7,201, but maybe make it the 17th, okay? And then again, that way you can say, I only want that particular customer, because again, it's only, and then, hold on 1 second, I can't talk and type at the same time. There we go. So again, I would say from this 417 to 417, and that would be the only one that pulls up on the list. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save. Oh, also, you can change the amount if you want. You can even say, you know what, for the first payment, it's going to be $100, but there's $300 additional. Keep in mind, though, if you do that, always make sure to hit that calculate tax button. All right, I'm going to put that back to $300 for now, just to make it, keep it even. There we go. All right. Now, once we've gone through and gotten our list of what we want to post, all we have to do is post. It is going to ask us if we want to print, preview, or export the journal. I'm going to show you a journal here real quick. I personally don't care. Simply because this is just garbage data and doing a crash course here. And again, it's going to show you those transactions that were on that list. Okay, cancel out that. Are you sure you want to post? Yes, we're going to post. And now, when we come back to the customer screen, oops, okay, you'll see this posted check mark has been checked. It also has an invoice number now. All right, so once it's posted, it will be given an invoice number. If you go through and try to change one that's posted, just like with a service or a service or running a program, once it's been posted, if you make a change here, it's not going to change its history. So if I come over here and I set this for $500 and save, if I go into history, you'll see it's still the 318, the 300 plus $18 tax. That does not change what actually has been charged to the person's account. Okay. Now, because of that, if you do the renewal, if you renew this installment charge, it will carry over this balance. So next year, it would charge that person $300 or $500. But again, I'm going to go ahead and set this back to $300 for sake of consistency and hit save. But like I said, this right here is not going to change what's been posted in their history. Please be aware of that. All right. So go back to installments here. Now, that has been posted. The customer owes us $318. So if you take a look here, $318. We haven't posted any services. Okay, so again, the customer owes us the money because the service hasn't been charged, or the installment charge went through. All right, posted it manually. I'm going to go ahead and put a payment in here real quick just to clear that out. Save and post, cancel, yes, there we go. All right, so again, I brought the customer's balance back to zero. Now, if I go in here and I post production on one of these services that are tied to the installment plan, I'm just going to grab the first one here. And I'm going to throw some random information in there. Save, post, cancel. Yes, there we go. This customer's account, and push F5 to refresh. Bing, there we go. You'll see this customer's account, that first round has been posted, but they do not have a remit balance. Again, because it's tied to an installment plan under the installments, there's a checkbox there, but also the installment chart, the billing type was set to installment. If I post the correlation, again, this is not part of the installment plan, so I did not have that change. If I post my correlation, ding, 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 post, cancel, yes, ding, ding, close that, F5 to refresh, you'll see it will charge them. Again, because that correlation was not part of the installment plan. It was by on its own. All right. If I come in here, post my mowing, again, same thing, double click done. Again, this is kind of a shortcut to quickly post production. Obviously, you wouldn't do a correlation, round one fertilization, and mowing all on the same day, but I'm doing it just so we can prove a point here. There we go. Change tabs or F5 to refresh. Again, you'll see the remit is still that $69.36. Why? Because those two services or programs are part of that installment plan. If we come over to installments, it's going to give you a breakdown. You'll notice that correlation disappeared because that is now marked as completed. If I click on that, you'll see it pops back up. All right. But like I was saying, is what's going to happen is because it's part of the installment plan and because we've posted a transaction or installment charge and we put a payment in and stuff like that, you'll notice that it's going to tell you how much services has been completed as part of the installment plan, how much they have been charged, and then what the difference is. All right, so they've been charged $300, but we've only done $143.72 worth of work. That's okay though. All right, because again, this is just going through and giving us a breakdown of how much the installment charge versus what we've actually done. But what's real nice about this, it will let you keep track to decide, did we make money off of it? or did we lose money off of it because we set up the installment plan? Because some people, what they'll do is they might set up like a snow removal or or just a strictly lawn mowing on an installment plan and say, hey, we're going to charge you $100 a month. We'll come out. We'll make sure your lawn doesn't grow over 2 inches high or whatever you agree with the customer. And it doesn't matter if you go out there once or if you go out there 10 times in the month, you're only charging that $100. Same with the snow removal. You're telling the customer, every month, we're going to charge you $500 for snow removal, but anything over an inch, we'll come out and plow. So again, different companies use it for different reasons, but like I was saying is, it's up to you to decide how you want to use it. It will also tell you payments received against the installment charge and then give you a net. All right. Now this net is going to show you what you would owe them or they would owe you if they were to cancel this installment charge. So again, keep in mind, we did only $143.72 worth of services, but we charged the customer $300. Because of that, including tax and everything, we would actually owe them $169.97 if they were to win the lottery and decided to move to Florida and they wanted a refund, or you guys won the lottery and decided to move to Florida and got a refund or wanted to refund their money. That's the end of the day balance, just to tell you really quickly whether or not you owe them or they owe you if they close their account. Now, like I mentioned before, on my general setup, this May 1st, 2015 installment charge will post when my system runs that nightly backup process. There's an aging step in there, and that's why it says post installments during aging, because it's during that nightly backup process that it will age the accounts and then post the installment charge. All right, but it has to be on that day. All right, that's why I was saying if it's in the past, you do have to manually post those installment charges. All right, so and again, installment's been set up. We've posted production on services. The one that has not been part of the installment plan got charged. The ones that were not charged. So now you want to send an invoice out to the customer for these installment charges. What you can do is go to Activity, Installment Charges, and print installment invoices. Now, with the installment invoices, there are a couple different options about what information you want to show. I'm going to set it for no services right now. Also, because I'm actually printing this invoice after it got posted, I'm going to go ahead and give it that. I'm going to do it as a reprint, or I have to do it as a reprint. So I'm going to tell it reprint only. I'm going to select the date range of where that installment charge falls within. So I do need to make sure it's set back here to April. So at least that 17th is in there. There we go. Boom, boom. And hit get them. And it's going to show you anybody that has an installment charge that falls between those date ranges. Again, this is a reprint because these ones have been posted. So let's take a quick look. And we're doing Steve Tyler right now. There we go. Let's take a quick look at what it currently looks like. So if we do a preview, you'll see it's just going to say April 2015 installment charge. And this is also an invoice. All right, and there's the account number, there's the invoice number, and so on and so forth. This is the part they'll tear off and send in with their payment and so on. All right, now, if you want to, we can tell it to show completed services, and we can tell anything between the date range that was completed I want on this invoice, on this installment invoice. So again, we're going to go ahead and do, well, actually, let me move this over so I can actually see everything. There we go. And do the 30th. And so when we do a preview, you'll see it's going to show those services that were performed. So if I did 20 mows, again, 20 mows would be listed there as long as it fell between the date range. It's going to show the price, but you might not want your customer to see what those prices are. So you can turn that off. So where it says show service price, turn it off, do a preview, and you'll see it again. Now it's just showing the services, but no pricing. If you have service notes when you post production, if you put little notes in this field right here, then you can actually have it print on the invoice as well. Again, that's assuming you're showing completed services. But you can also show scheduled services, services that are coming up. Now, if you decide to show scheduled services, they have to have a schedule date in order to select them, or have them fall between the date range. So I'm going to go ahead and set this for May, because I do have services with a May schedule date on this customer. There we go. And we'll do a preview here, and you'll see these are the mowings that are coming up. Now, again, I might run this for the May instead of for the April. Again, it's up to you if you want to do the installment invoices before or after you've completed service, before or after you, did the work and so on and so forth. And again, you can decide what you want to show. And again, you can show service price and stuff like that. Now, like I said before, the reason why I had to do it as a reprint is because when it posted, I got an invoice number. But let's say we're doing them for the future. So we're going to go ahead and say, I want to show May's installment, and again, I'm going to show what's going to be scheduled for May for this customer. So we do a preview, and you'll see there's that invoice number. Oops, hold on. wait, hold on. I thought I picked May. Oh, you might help if I actually hit the get them button, wouldn't it? Ha, there we go. Oh, okay, 1 second. Oh, it might help if I actually pick May, into May as well. There we go. Get them. And, okay, so again, you'll see these are the customers that have installments set up that fall between the date range that have not been posted yet or given an invoice. So we're going to go ahead and hit none, and we're going to stick with the Steven Tyler because that's who we were working with. Again, we're going to do the month of May's installment chart. So we're talking about this one right here, the one that has not been posted yet. We're going to show what services are coming up in May. Do a preview. Again, you'll see the previews, give the breakdown and all that stuff. Now, the reason the fertilization doesn't show up on there is because usually with fertilization, people don't use schedule dates. All right, so again, if you want to use a schedule date, you can. You can go through, schedule it out, set it all up and everything, and then you can get it to show up on the invoice. Now, of course, I have this really odd setup from something else I was showing, and you'll see 90 days obviously is a long time between rounds, but again, I'd have to set the date range to hit that July one there. All right. This is going to be a long one. I think the first time I recorded this, it was a half an hour, and someone interrupted me midway, and I had to knock on my door, and I had to go see what's going on, and I lost my flow, and so whatever. Okay, so as we're saying is that we're going to be printing them up. Now, again, you can say no services. Now, you can say we're going to be showing May's invoice or May's charge for April services. So like I said, you can make a match. Play around with it. Decide how you want to present this information to your customer. Again, we do a preview here. It's saying on the May charge, it's actually covering those April services. Depending on the customer, it depends on what information you want to show. All right. Now, some people like the coupon books. Real Green does sell the paper. The print shop does sell the paper. Please understand, I'm not part of sales, not trying to sell you anything, but you can actually print out coupons to mail to your customers or give them to your customers so they can mail their payment in before the due date. So if you go to the Installments tab here, you'll see there's a Print Coupons button. When we hit Print Coupon, it's going to ask me what's the date range of those coupons that I want to do, or the installments that I want to show. Now, this one in April's already been posted. So I'm actually going to not show April's because why give them a coupon for something that's already been charged and they paid for or whatever. So again, I'm going to do it from May 1st, and then I'm going to do it till December 31st just to make sure I capture it. But when you click on the Print Coupons button on the customer screen, it's going to throw that person's customer range in there for you. And I'll talk a little bit more about some of these options when I talk about printing coupons in mass for a group of people. All right? So let's take a look at a preview at what these person's coupons are going to look like. There they are. So again, it's going to tell what the charge is. I have mine itemizing the tax. You'll see payment number 1, number 2, and so on and so forth. And it's going to have the due date. Now again, they're hopefully going to send this payment in before the due date, and so that way you can put the money onto the account, and then when the system charges it, you can go ahead and it will eat up that credit. And I'll show you how to do like a 0% prepay here in a moment for installments. But again, these are the coupons. There's, I think, 4 to the sheet. This is what you give your customer. This perforated. The paper is perforated. All this green stuff is what's pre-printed on there. And then, like I said, you can give it to them. And most people like to pay online nowadays, but not everyone has CAW to let their customers pay. So again, some people like the coupon books, especially, some of the older crowd. I'm almost 40 and I kind of miss the coupon books, but I am kind of glad I can do everything online now. So again, you can print those coupons. Now, once you've printed the coupons, it will fill in that coupon date. So let's go ahead and print. And I'm going to do a fake print. I do have a video talking about how to do fake prints. Essentially, I'm going to be saving it as a file. So I save, paper and ink. I'm just going to replace my junk file. So let's keep that. There we go. And again, if we change tabs or push F5, you'll see now there's a coupon print date. The reason that comes important because if you do a couple coupon prints for a couple customers because they signed up early or whatever, and then later on decide to go through and en masse print them out, you can tell don't print coupons that already have a coupon date. So like I was saying, if you want to print coupons in mass, you're going to go to Activity, Installment Charges, and Print Installment Coupons. It's going to take you to the same screen here. But again, it doesn't automatically put the customer number. Now, it did for me simply because this is the last customer I printed coupons for. But again, if I wanted to do it in mass for all the customers that are in my system, I can do that. Again, I'm going to set my date range. And again, you might print them out for the year. Now, only installment plans with no coupon date. This is where this date comes important because if there's a date there, it's not going to print another one. If you want to print those coupons, you can uncheck it. It will print another batch of coupons for that person. Again, company name, itemized tax. And if you don't want itemized tax, you can uncheck it and we'll just show it as a total. Let's do a preview. There we go. So again, you'll see there's one customer here. Go through here. Testament Portsmouth. Oh my gosh, a bunch of customers here. Hold on. 1/20/15, 12/31/15. Oh, there we go. So again, if I have that checked, it's not going to print there. But if I uncheck it, I want to show you him. Let's go to the end here. Show you Kramer. There we go. There would be Steven Tyler's. Again, I didn't itemize the tax this time. But like I was saying, if you want to reprint those coupons, you can. But most people don't want to waste the extra paper because they've already printed a batch. Usually it's only because if they went through and the person lost the coupons or never received them. So again, if we put that check mark there, you won't see Steven Tyler there. Okay, so what we've talked about in this video so far, we've talked about how to create that installment plan. What we're going to do is hit new, tie the service to it, tell it to change it to the installment billing type. We're going to decide whether or not we want to use the calculated. Again, the calculated is going to be the services remaining going forward. All right. If we don't want to use calculated, if we want to use manual, we can manually put whatever number we want in there. It can be a little less, it can be a little more. It's going to tell you the services that are remaining, installment charges that are remaining. All right. Over here, it's going to be you're going to put in the number of payments. You're going to put the first due date. You're going to decide if you want to set up monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly. All right. Again, we recommend trying to keep it within the same calendar year. There is a utility that when you renew the installment plan, you can reset it to do 12 months or how many ever months or whatever. Unfortunately, it's kind of one of those things that's going to hit a bunch of people. It's not just going to be on a case-by-case basis. All right. Over here, it's going to have a coupon date if you printed coupons, expiration date when the plan expires. It's going to have the approval date. You'll see it is currently in active status. If I wanted to cancel it, all I'd have to do is just hit cancel. All right, and again, I would just create a adjustment on the account to reflect that I actually owe them $169.97, and then I can issue them a refund check. All right, I can also mark it as completed, but you probably wouldn't want to do that. When all these transactions have been posted, it will mark itself as being completed. All right. So again, down here, it's going to tell you what you've done, how much you've charged them on the installment plan. It's going to tell you the difference, as well as how much payments you received, and then what the credit or debit or what the credit or remit box would be if the person was to cancel this plan right now. All right. So if you want to print coupons, you can do it from the customer's installment screen, or you can go to activity, installment charges, print coupons. If you want to do invoices, again, you can do installment invoices, a couple different options. You can show completed services, scheduled services, select the date range, and so on and so forth. As well as if you want to manually post the installment, like in my kit scenario where the first one was already, the date had already passed, I can tell it to generate and post installments and do it manually. Keep in mind though, it's an all or nothing for everything that shows on the list. So if you want to do one individually, you go ahead and put the first due date of something, or put the due date of something like the 17th or whatever. Now, if the customer were to give you money ahead of time, okay, what you can do is you can do what's called a 0% installment prepay. Most systems by default have that prepay code in there unless someone's changed it. Someone could have gone in there, relabeled it something else, or they could have gone through and remove, didn't make or made the code so it's no longer active or available. Again, most by default, when you first get your system or database, whatever, it's in there. If it's not, just create one. And if you have any questions about how to create one, you can always give Real Green a call. Or it's pretty much the same as setting up an prepayment code for a regular service, but you're only going to mark it available for installments. So again, let's say this customer sends the installment coupon in ahead of time for the 318, which is a 300 plus 6% tax, and I want to set this up as a prepay. I can go through and hit the little pile of gold coins there. I can choose which of these installment charges I want to have that prepay, and you'll see there's my 0% prepay installment discount. Again, I'm going to make sure I put in the correct amount. 318 is what they gave me, and then save, post. Nah, I'm more worried about the journal. There we go. If we go to installments, again, you'll see nothing's been posted or anything, but the customer now has a prepay balance of $318 to cover that installment charge. All right. So again, you can have people. I could have set up the person who had the correlation prepaid as well. I would just have to make sure that they have the correct amount, tie the correct prepay codes to the correct things before I post the payment. All right, so again, this is my crash course on installments. I hope this helps. I hope I didn't go too fast. I hope I didn't jump around too much. Unfortunately, this is one of my longer videos. And of course, I hope you learned something new and you guys have yourself a wonderful day.